We are very, very strategic in terms of our approach, not just to the disintegration of the damnable zoological republic, but its disembowelment. I did promise you many years ago that by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name Nigeria will no longer exist. That is where we are heading to. And for us to be able to accomplish that, we need to recreate the scenario of Yemen, the scenario of Syria, the scenario of Somalia, in the northern part of the damnable zoological republic. And there is only one way we are going to achieve that. ESN will give it to us. How? Because in their eternal foolishness and stupidity, it is called hubris. The Janjaweed army will come to the south to engage us. They will. They will come. It is not a question of if, but when. But this time around, we are waiting for them in our bushes and in our forests. We are not going to fight this war in our townships. We are going to fight it inside our bushes and in our forests. They will come there, and we are going to kill them. All of them. And as they are coming into our bushes and in our forests, they will leave their backside open. Terrorists from all across the Sahel will flood into Arewa lands and occupy it. God will destroy them. I just want all of you to watch and see what is going to happen to the zoo. What they call banditry and insurgency is only the beginning. Just an appetizer. The real dish is coming. The main course is coming. At the end of this process, all of you will worship God the way that nobody ever did in the world before. Biafra is coming not through the efforts of any mortal, but through the grace of God and God only and not man. God will not share his glory with any mortal. By the time that Biafra gets here to us, we will all be very thankful that out of the billions upon billions of the people that occupy this very earth, Chukwokika chose Biafra to showcase his mighty works. You must remember this always. The fight we are engaged in is not of a carnal nature. It is very, very spiritual. Then that time they will bring what is left of their army. We know how many soldiers they have in the zoo, and we know that we have more men under arms than them in the zoo. We know why we lost the war. We're not going to lose this very war, I'm telling you. Before God and man, we can't lose it. Heaven is my witness, we can never lose it. They are going to die in our land. They are going to die in Biafra land. And their homes will be taken over by the monster that they bred. There is something some of you do not understand in the zoo. Sometimes when I go through Zoom, in fact, I say to myself, God, in my next life, I can never come to Africa. I don't want to mix with idiots who can know reason very well. Let me tell you what is going to happen in the north. For some of you who do not know, it has started happening already. Do you know that the mother of Buratai died? Buratai could not go to his house. He's the army general, commanding all the armies of the zoo. He couldn't go for his mother's burial. Are you aware of that? In Borno, he couldn't go. Why do you think so? Do you know that Isa Funtua died? He was not buried in his village, he was buried in Abuja. Are you aware that Abba Kyari died? Abba Kyari was not buried in his hometown, in one of the Borno villages. He was buried, so they claim, in Abuja. Do you know that Simon Da is dead? Do you know that everybody who has risen up to take over, do you know that the entire Fulani cabal that I was telling you about before, that they're all dead? Are you aware of that? Buhari is dead. Abba Kyari is dead. Isa Funtua is dead. Simon Da is dead. Are you aware of that, all of you? Are you aware of that? No, you don't know. This war is being waged in the spiritual realm for some of you who don't understand. The reason why they have not announced the death of Mama and Daura is because they said if they announce it now, I'll look for the next person to curse. Go and ask them in Abuja, that's what they're saying. Anybody who rises up to become the head of the cabal, you will die. You have an eternal curse placed on you. And Maman Daura is dead, of course he's dead. The entire cabal is dead. If you don't know, let me tell you. I'm telling you the truth. But this year, they can't escape it. Something is going to happen to the zoo that any ear that hears it will vibrate forever and ever. God will destroy Nigeria. Completely and totally. I want to let Britain understand this. I want them to do all they can to save their zoo that they created for the habitation of idiots who cannot reason in Africa, especially Nigerians. I need them to understand this very carefully. Do all you can to save your zoo. You cannot save it. Watch and see what is going to happen. The Janjaweed are coming from all over the Sahel with their camel, bringing in every manner of sophisticated weaponry. Not to come and fight Biafrans, of course not, but to come and finish all these vultures. They are in a very serious mess, I assure you. I gave them 3 examples: Yemen, Somalia, and Syria. That is what is going to obtain in the northern part of the zoo. They can't escape it.
An effort on the part of Kofi Annan, but a very important one, because if it can succeed and be done without further violence, that's obviously much preferable than a wider regional war.
So if Assad and his regime don't back down, what I hear you saying, as a final last resort, the United States and potentially its NATO allies would use the military option to stop the slaughter.
Well, I don't think that's what I said. What I said is the next step would be for there to be an effort to put maximum international pressure on Assad, including through the Security Council, where we have been clear that we are prepared to see at the appropriate time an effort to impose Security Council enforcement action, including sanctions and potentially other steps. What I said was, should all of that fail or not be possible because it perhaps would be vetoed again, then we're into a situation which is chaotic and in which the sides are going to continue to be supported by outsiders. I'm not going to predict, Wolf, what actions we would take in that context. Our aim has been to avoid that worst case scenario because clearly it is in our interest and in the interest of the region for the conflict in Syria not to escalate, not to spiral into a wider regional conflict engulfing our...
Yemen, Somalia, and Syria. That is what is going to obtain in the northern part of the zoo. They can't escape it.